Okay, so let's do this.
So let's just do Kumu na
Ang
lang.
daming, sorry.
Are we doing just Kumu or are we also
No,
live?
we're doing Facebook also.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. This is the
Alright,
first actually.
so,
Two
I'm
screens.
excited si Chris sa Kumu. This is your first time now with Kumu.
Yes.
Okay. So, today, okay, so just to give a brief background, dito sa mga nanonood sa atin at Kumu and in Facebook. So, good evening to everyone. I am Ginger. I am Mommy Ginger. I still feel so awkward saying it na Mommy Ginger kasi parang brand. Di ba? Parang I'm Ginger. Yun na lang. I'm Ginger. Period. And I am the blogger behind Mommy Ginger. Ayun, mas maganda. mommyginger.com. So I've been blogging for 10 years already. 10 to 11 years already. Yes, I started in 2008. So matagal na akong blogger. And this is one of the things that I wanted to do this year, no? Kasi since we know that a lot of people now are watching through streams, through platforms like this, no? Streaming platforms, and they love listening or watching, hindi lang listening but watching videos. So this is one of my initiatives, no? To sort of go live already on Facebook often. And also to stream here in Kumu, no? Kasi I'm also a featured streamer in Kumu.ph. So it's an app, it's a live streaming app. So what do I usually talk about? I usually talk about business, freelancing, all of the amazing and exciting stuff when it comes to business and starting your freelancing career. So, and usually, no, I don't do it by myself. Usually kasama si EJ, my husband. But since he's gonna leave for a talk tonight, ako lang. Okay, and of course, we have a special who are experts, obviously, in their field, no? Syempre, di ba, we want to learn from the best people out there. And today, yes, di ba? Oh, best. Yeah, si Chris, magaling yan si Chris. Very, as in, I know that we will learn a lot from this guy. So, thank you, Melanie, sa taho, sa Kumu. Okay, so, let's get on to the topic. So, okay, before pala the topic, sorry, Chris, can you tell everyone who is Chris and what do you actually do? Diba? I know that, obviously, I know who you are, but for the benefit of the people watching in Facebook and Kumu, sige, introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. Chris here. I'm a freelancer based in Cagayan de Oro. I am also, like Ginger, a blogger. I blog about freelancing, productivity, and personal and professional development. As you can hear rather, masyado akong Englishero, and that's just because I really struggle with my Tagalog. So, in terms of confidence, very low in that department. But anyways, I can understand. Hindi lang ako magaling, that's all. So, anyway, so I started Ace Freelancing, I think 2 or 3 years ago. It was actually inspired by, my life circumstance because I've been freelancing for about more than 6 years now. And when family and friends, see what I do, they always raise, an eyebrow and ask, like, how do you do that? Or how can I do it? So I get the question all the time. And it got to a point where I was so frustrated saying the same things over and over again. So I decided to make a blog so that whenever someone asks about freelancing, I'll just tell them, okay, just go to my blog.
Okay yun na. Like parang, wag niyo na ako tanungin, guys. Just go to my
exactly.
blog.
So that's how it started. But as a freelancer, I am a digital marketing strategist, and I do social media management and content marketing. So the goal for my clients is to just help them increase their traffic, their leads, and their sales using different marketing channels. In a way, I would consider myself a full stack marketer because I'm not necessarily focused on one platform, which sometimes can work against my case because specializing is always a good thing. I highly suggest that, especially for the beginners. But if you feel more and more confident with your skills and you've been able to build a reputation, it's much easier to expand your horizons. But yeah, that's pretty much more about me, if would you like me to talk about like how I started, a brief history about like freelancing and
I
everything?
think Yeah, I think no, in relation to the topic, since the topic today, guys, is about building an awesome portfolio, an awesome freelance portfolio. I guess it's but appropriate that you can actually introduce yourself also, and in that way, no, na parang how did you start freelancing? How did you build your portfolio? Kasi, diba, that's very important then, no? Like, when people ask us, like, how did you actually start getting clients? Hindi kami magkapatid, Jim. Bakit lagi? Ano ba to si Jim? He always asks kasi kung kapatid ko yung guest ko. Hindi ko kapatid.
Hi, Jim.
Yan. Pero, syempre, yung mga, ang cute nyo pareho. Uy, thank you, Jim.
Nice.
Cute ka rin. Ikaw rin, cute. Okay, so, okay, sorry, mga people sa Facebook. I'm talking to people here then sa crew mo. So, guys, in Facebook, if you have questions or if you have comments, feel free to leave it. Leave your comments also so that I can read it. Okay, so going back, no? So, since we're talking about like building an awesome freelance portfolio, how did you start your freelancing career, and how did you start building your portfolio?
So I started freelancing actually, again, as I mentioned, more than 6 years ago. It arose from the need to start earning money because I was fresh out of, college, and I was waiting for the board exam, the nursing board exam. So as I was taking the
Oh,
board exam,
nursing board exam. I didn't
yes,
know. I didn't know. Okay, all
yes. So I
right.
used I used to be a nurse, and so that time I was just doing my own research, right? I was looking for ways to earn money online, and what I usually came up with Google is usually they're very like scammy. So I really didn't know. I at that time I didn't even know what freelancer was or freelancing. Totally no idea what that meant, and I didn't even hear of the word before then. So I actually learned about a freelancing platform called Odesk, which is now Upwork, from a friend. And so
Yes.
that's how I got started. So I built my own profile and I just hustled. I applied to a lot of jobs. I did what I think was the best approach to doing it. I tried to reach out to as many people as I can. So back then, it was a numbers game for me. So the more jobs I applied to, the greater chances of getting clients. But knowing what I know now, the approach is really different. Because again, I was fresh out of college, so my understanding for like how to apply to jobs and things like that, I was pretty much like primed to apply as an employee. But the game totally changes when you treat yourself as a business in freelancing. So it's two completely different worlds. So with freelancing, because of my nursing background, it was also very difficult for me to start because I had like a nursing background, right? It was hard to offer that as a digital service because my skill set was more often like an in-person thing where I'm taking care of people, giving them medication and documenting the care
Yeah.
and things like that. So that was hard. So I had to work with like my okay, okay, my good English and writing skills, and I started out as a writer. And I focused on the medical industry, given the nursing background. So I used it to my advantage instead of like worrying about like how could I start, without skills. So I used that, and I encourage you to do
Okay.
that as well. Like work with what you have, work with what you know, and if you don't know anything, you can always learn a new skill or something like that. But yeah, it's a good idea to start with what you know and where you're currently at. So that's how I started. I did writing, and I was good with my studies. I was good with like my research class. So I eventually became a researcher and offered services.
Okay.
Yeah, market research, things like that. And I've jumped from like service offering to service offering. I've tried virtual assistants or administrative support. I've done customer service. I've done like I've played games and I got paid to play games.
So,
Um,
Chris,
yeah,
when did you start with Odesk? So this was how many years ago? Again, 6 years ago.
yes, that was like late 2012.
Okay, 2012. And then for like a year, or how long did you like jump from one service to the other?
Usually when I just feel like it. Sometimes when because I didn't know what I was doing, right? The resources for freelancing back then were very scarce. So everyone who's starting freelancing now, consider yourself lucky because the blogs about freelancing, there's a lot of communities that can help you get started. But back then, like we had to like literally figure our way as we go, and that was certainly the case for me. So in terms of like changing service offering, I think it was
Yeah.
more of like gut feel for me. Like when I felt like something was not fun anymore, something caused too much unnecessary stress, and generally if it was something that I didn't really develop a passion for,
Yeah.
and that was the time when I felt like making a shift was needed. And this is actually a common question that people ask: is like, is it safe to change service offerings at any time, or when should you do it? Well,
Correct.
the
Yeah.
yeah, and the answer for that is like anytime. Like you can literally change your service offering anytime. The only difficulty here is that when you're managing a big brand, when you're a big brand yourself and you're making that huge transition. But when you're offering like small services to small businesses or even SMEs, small to medium enterprises, it won't affect your freelancing success that much. And that's the great thing about freelancing too, is you literally get to do whatever you want as long as you're providing
Exactly.
a solution to businesses.
Exactly. So now that you're 6 years into freelancing, 6 or 7 years into
Yes,
freelancing,
yes.
are you still like shifting from one skill to the other, offering one service to or like several services basically?
I'm more focused, I think, in the last 2 or 3 years, I focus more on marketing. But
Okay.
generally, yes, I do make transitions from different like branches of market because marketing is like a very broad service offering, right? So I like
Okay.
exploring. Yeah.
Yeah, so but it's still in the realm of marketing. So
Yes.
like
Yes.
for example, if you like offer a service na email marketing, you can shift on let's say tomorrow to another client who wants a Facebook marketing guru or freelancer, right? Something like that, right? So you're
Right.
doing it
Right.
all in the realm of marketing.
Right. Generally strategy. So I help.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So more on marketing strategy, and if they need someone to implement it, sometimes I do it for them. But if not, I'll recommend people to do the
Oh,
implementation for
that's
them.
good.
Yes.
Okay, so in terms of like portfolio, I think normally people would look at portfolio as um, something that an artist or something like a visual a skill would, diba? A freelancer with that visual skill, something like
Yes.
drawing or something like yeah, images or photos, diba? So how do you go about building a portfolio when it's like, let's say in your case, marketing services, or sometimes people have the skill of writing, so they're a content provider, something like that. So how do you
Right.
create portfolio in that ano naman, in that realm, basically?
Right. Oh, that's such a great question because that's actually a huge struggle for a lot of freelancers whose service doesn't really result in something visual, like as you mentioned. If it's like an article, it's like text, it's not, there's no image,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? So how do you do it? What was that your question? How do you make a portfolio for those services?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
If it's like copy, diba? Or if it's like text, parang boring naman if you like attach, or baka naman maging book yon pag nag-attach ka ng sample articles or something, no? How do you like pass on like a portfolio when it comes to like copy so that other people can also know like what to do?
Right. So generally, when you say portfolio, yeah, that's right. It's a very visual. It's like something that people like to look at. It's a very easily consumable thing to show to your prospects to help show proof of your previous work. So for again, I'm so redundant, but anyway, it's a struggle for people who don't really do anything visual with their freelancing services, but if you're creative enough, you can do something about it so that it's actually visual. So here's an
Okay.
example, and this will depend on what platform that you're using for freelancing, whether that's um, whether that's you're using freelance marketplaces like Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer, and things like that, or whether you're getting direct clients for your business. So what you can
Okay.
do is to take screenshots, okay? Because that literally
Oh,
transforms
yeah.
a
Correct.
blog post, just a section of it, into an image. Immediately turns into a usable portfolio.
Something visual.
Right.
Exactly.
And one
Yeah.
thing you can do, for example, what if you do like you help people with like voiceovers? That there's no visual for that because
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
modality is in audio. So what you can do is to create a thumbnail. You can design a
Okay.
very simple image, doesn't have to be sophisticated, and then link to your audio file, to your sample, to your portfolio. So the point here is to just be creative about how you can
Ang
make
galing.
something that's
Yeah.
not too visual and turn it into something visual. If you can help prospects with something that's a physical product, think about how you can digitize it. Like for example, you make something, you sell something like DIY stuff. Take a photo of it. Now it's digital and now it becomes a portfolio item. If you like to paint, if you like to do something with a brush pen or something like that, if you like typography and you do calligraphy, do it
Yeah.
and then scan it or take a photo of it, and now it becomes a portfolio item. So this is something that a lot of people really struggle with. Is like this imposter syndrome where you think like your portfolio item has to be amazing. You know, it has to be like this really amazing result that you can do. But really, it's not. Again, like portfolio is just something, a visual element that you can show to prospects just to help them feel more comfortable about hiring you for their services. And also as a disclaimer, and I know this
Yeah.
might sound ironic, but having a portfolio is not crucial to starting or to actually really scaling. It's good to build a portfolio to complement your business, but it's not absolutely necessary. A big trap or like a mistake or like a pitfall that new freelancers have is like they feel like they need to build a portfolio first before they can start pitching their services to clients or before they actually feel confident to reach out to these prospects. So it's good to keep in mind that it's not absolutely necessary, but it's a good addition to your business.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, there. There was a
Oh,
short
there.
lag.
There. Sorry, I thought I lost you. Yeah, there. It's okay. Wait. Oh,
I'm
there.
here.
Oh, there. Sorry, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point now. Parang create something. It doesn't have to be like a really nice image, no? Just try to sort of create a visual component to whatever like copy or service you have. Like for us bloggers, no, when we don't have a portfolio, but really what we have is a media kit. So a media kit is where we see the rates, the services, diba? Usually kasi for bloggers like us, we have like sponsored posts, and then we get brands to sort of like get our services, like let's say post in Instagram or post on Instagram stories or write a blog post or do a vlog. So what we do have in a media kit is like a list of all of the services just to share with people also. Or even if you're a vlogger, no, here in Kumo and in Facebook Live, I'm sure like a lot of people are vloggers. A lot of them want to use video as a platform. So what we normally have is a media kit, and then all of the services are there, the rates are there, and then that's what we cascade to brands who ask for our services, right? Or even clients, right? Some individual clients, right?
Right.
So there. So what are your tips now in creating a really awesome portfolio? So what are your other tips? I know you mentioned already a few. Um, but do you have
Right.
something? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So what I can probably talk about in this area is like what opportunities do you have for building portfolios, or where can you look for things that you could potentially turn into portfolio items? So just a heads up that when I actually started with writing as in freelancing, I used my school papers and even my research paper as a portfolio item. So I digitized those, or I think I had a digital copy, and then I just attached it to the freelancer marketplace, and then I used that as a portfolio item. So that helped me land projects for like academic writing and research. So that's just one opportunity. I literally used work I had in school to use it for freelancing. So that's something that you can look at as well. Okay, so the first thing that you can try to look at is called snippets and excerpts. A snippet is just like a small part of something. Like for example, if you want to be a writer, if you want to pursue like blog writing or content writing, you don't have to make 2,000 word articles to turn it into a portfolio item. You can just start with 100 or 200, like literally
Yeah.
a short paragraph, and then take a screenshot of it and turn it into a graphic. That's it. That's a portfolio item. Um, Another thing would be a critique or review. So, for example, if you're like a tech person, if you're like, let's say, if you do email marketing, one thing you can do is to do a screen share and talk about like different email service providers. Do your own
Okay.
review. For example, why would you recommend this and why would you not recommend that for your clients? Doing critiques or reviews easily shows and establishes your expertise and your
Okay.
know-how and your authority, and it also builds the trust element with your prospects because they see that they know what you're talking about. So that's one thing that you can do as well. The third thing I already mentioned are screenshots. So anything you can
Okay.
digitize. For example, if you're a creative person and you like to make your original posts on social media and it gets a lot of attention, you can take a screenshot of that as well, or even like use it directly for like marketing jobs. If you do social media marketing or social media management, a lot of the social media posts that you publish intentionally, those are very easily portfolio items. So the good thing about that is like you can see the results. For example, again, if it's generating buzz, if people are sharing it, if there's good engagement, you can show that in the screenshot. Okay,
Yeah.
so be like uber creative with what you can digitize and collect. So basically, a portfolio is just a curation um, of of what you've already done and what you're currently doing. So just collect whatever you can collect, and then you can just select whichever is most appropriate for whatever you want to offer as a service. Another
Yeah.
portfolio item that you can, this is the fourth one, is our case studies. So if you've
Okay.
already been doing freelance work, you can try to talk about where you where a certain client was in their business, how you intervened, and what the result was. For example, you can talk about like how a client only had 50 Facebook page likes, and you increased it to
Mhm.
500, doing this and that. So that's a case study that you can feature as a portfolio item. One thing you
Mhm.
can do in terms of like in this example is to take screenshots of metrics or KPIs, as they would call it, key performance indicators, or
Yes.
yes, or metrics. So you can show graphs. You take screenshots of the graphs. That easily shows, the progress or the changes in development, like where they were before and where they are now after. So that's one thing that you can do as well.
Yeah.
And this can even apply, like, for example, if you, again, a good example is like social media marketing because it's hot right now in the freelance industry. But what you can do is, for example, if you're trying to grow a personal brand, is to monitor your own metrics and use that as a portfolio item as well. And the metrics will vary. If you can talk about engagement, you can talk about how many people follow your profile, how many people view your live videos, things like that. Again,
Mhm.
be creative. Okay, we don't want. I'm not setting any specific parameters on what qualifies as a portfolio or not, but rather I'm just giving guidelines on what you can potentially use.
That's true.
Another.
So I guess no, in terms of like choosing which of the four they should use, it really depends on them on what they want to highlight. Diba? Because
Yes,
like for
exactly.
example, if you're a new freelancer and you don't want to highlight your own metrics, then it's okay. No, we're not telling you like these are
Right.
these four are should be there, no, in your portfolio. But you can highlight what you want to highlight, and yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned about, let's say, the critiques, right? The feedback that you get. So how do you collect feedback for
Okay.
your services? Like, how do you do it personally as
Mm-mm.
Chris?
Okay. So in terms of collecting case studies, you need to reach out to your prospects. But there's an important guideline for using case studies and reviews is that you only try to reach out to people who you've made a positive impact for in your business. Like obviously, if it was a bad project, let's say it was a bad fit,
Nag-reach out ka pa rin no, sa band.
yeah, and the client was not happy, or the client just turned out to be this super terror client, um, obviously don't reach out for case studies because they're not going to give you anything that's going to be useful. So be very careful
Yes,
about that.
true.
And in terms of case studies, it's you can try to incentivize it to encourage your clients to give you the case studies because obviously you're asking them a favor to give you a review. You can say
Mm-mm.
like if you keep working with me, I'll give you like this amount off, like 10% off on your next month, something like that, just to
Yeah.
incentivize it. Um, yeah, case study. So also
Yeah.
give them format. If you can give them preset questions to make it easier for them, so you don't have to think about like, what should I include in my case studies? So here's what you can do. You can include questions like, where were you before? What were your problems before hiring Chris? And then how did
Correct.
Chris intervene? And then what was the result? And then they can fill that out, and you can put them all together to turn it into an awesome testimonial where you talk about the how you transform their business. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's
You know
the
what?
guide. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's nice that you mentioned like format. Ano mo, like for freelancers here na parang kasi for these things that Chris mentioned, no, you can actually yung simple version is just go to, let's say, build a Facebook page for yourself. Okay, don't be shy to call yourself whatever, like a blogger or kasi people are sort of like, what? Magka-create ako ng page for myself. I'm not that, alam mo yan, important. But
Right.
you are important. Okay, if you want to sell your service, it's fine. Create a page for yourself. And
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
what you can do is, diba, you can ask people to give you tool in Facebook, or if you're shy to create a page on Facebook, what you can do is go to LinkedIn and then have people send you recommendations, diba? Since it's a
Mhm.
professional platform, diba? So everyone's there to look for clients, to look for business partners, or to build partnerships and I don't know, like look for people that they can collaborate with. So you can go to LinkedIn, 'di ba? So kung nahihiya kayo na sa Facebook, you can go to LinkedIn, 'di ba? So there.
Right.
So kung if you don't have your site, kung wala kang site, what you can do is you can go to these platforms. Okay, speaking of which, no, like do you recommend that freelancers like build their own website? Is it like a useful thing for them in general?
So ultimately, it really depends on your business goals. Like for
Mm-mm.
example, if you're using a marketplace to acquire clients, then there may be no need to build a website because your funnel is already there. You're getting clients from there, you're getting leads from there, and you're delivering the service through those platforms. You may also even use social media channels to run your freelancing business and not
Mm-mm.
have to resort to marketplaces. The approaches are different. And another thing would be to drive traffic to your own website and generate lead sales there. So I guess the best answer would be it would depend on your business model and what your business goals are. But if I were to make any recommendation, I would say yes, it would be great to have a website because the website in itself already is a portfolio item. And sometimes for
Mm-mm. True.
when the need arises or when it's relevant, in my case, I would direct prospects to my website, and it's just a simple blog. It shows them so many skills that I have, like designing the website, writing articles, creating graphics, writing copy, um, creating automation for email marketing, things like that. So that's why I actually also really enjoy blogging, is that it makes a really good portfolio item for me.
Yeah, that's true. You can, yeah, refer, you can include it, diba? Like for, okay, so another thing, no, like, I get a lot of these questions na, one of the questions pala that I get is, there are a lot of freelancers in the Philippines, diba? So, if even the world, diba? So you compete with the freelancers, not only in the Philippines, but also those who are based in the US, India, all of these places, no? So, how do you stand out when a client is looking at different portfolios? Diba? Parang, how do you stand out from all of the portfolios that he's looking at?
Right. So this is what I mentioned earlier. Na the portfolio is not crucial to improving your success rate in freelancing. It's good. It's a good addition. It's a nice supplement, but it's not essential. So here's the thing: in terms of prospecting clients, in terms of trying to get leads or to convert leads into paying customers, avoid referring to your portfolio. Okay. You
Okay.
should only provide reference to your portfolio or link to your portfolio if they ask for it. So why do I say that? What do
Good
I
tip.
mean by that? Okay, what do I mean by that? You see, in terms of prospecting, the focus on your conversation with your prospect should be solving their problem. The focus should be their business problem and how hiring you is a solution to that business problem. So you need to steer the conversation in the business problem always, because when you steer the conversation to your qualifications, your work experience, the results you've made in the past, your portfolio
True.
items, you're taking the conversation away from their business problem. Okay, so when you focus on portfolio and work experience,
I love that.
you sort of commoditize yourself, because now you're comparing, the client will now have to other freelancers. But when you focus on the problem and the solution, that's really unique to you. And focusing on that will help you increase your conversion rates and win the clients over. So only provide portfolio items if they say, if they're looking for portfolio items. And the tricky
Yeah.
thing about portfolio too is that not all your portfolio items will be relevant to your client's business. Like, for example, the client needs help with increasing, let's say, with Facebook ads. Showing them portfolio items on increasing likes, engagement is totally irrelevant and doesn't help their business. So it kind of like, it works against you. What you can do instead is to make, I wouldn't call it a portfolio item, but to make something live. Like, for example, if I know about the client's website, if I know about their business, I will, like, in the process of prospecting, create something that's tailor fit for them. For example, if they have a website, they need help with copy, I'll tell them, hey, here's what you're doing right, and here's what you're doing wrong, and this is
That's
where I
perfect.
step.
Yeah.
So that's how you do it.
Yeah, because we always think, I love your answer. By the way, thank you pala Larry, thank you aka Baboy for the gifts. I love your answer because normally as freelancers, we always think na paano na lang ako versus everyone else. It's always like our capabilities versus everyone else, and that we forget that it's about the client. It's about the person that you're talking to, diba? So
Yeah, exactly.
the when the client sees that you're actually interested in what he has to say, then that's already a step above the rest, diba? Parang,
Right.
parang, buti na lang nakikinig tong freelancer na to. Kasi it's, hindi, guys, so isa lang yan, it's not about you. It's not always about you, diba? That's so, ang galing, that it's a change in perspective, diba? It's a change in
Right.
mindset. And always, diba, when you're a freelancer, the customer will always come first. And both of you are partners towards like achieving a business objective, achieving a goal. So whatever it is that you can offer, or the value that you can offer, so that he or she reaches that goal, that's what basically will come into the conversation naturally. It's not even you parang pushing na, oh, ganito ako, magaling ako, or something like, 'di ba, like, I did,
Right.
'di ba, hindi na siya, it's not about you and your skills anymore, but it will already be a conversation on what strategies already can you do. Sometimes ganun na napupunta na sa ganung usapan when you're really basically thinking about how you can help your customers. Galing,
Right.
galing, Chris. And I'm sure a lot of people already got a lot of tips, no, for this particular topic. Ang dami yung natutunan, guys, di ba?
Right.
Okay. Siguro last question. Because I think we're 37 minutes on already. Okay, so okay, ano bang magandang last question? Sorry, may mga notes ako dito. Like, parang,
Sure.
what will I ask Chris? I guess, no, siguro, kasi we have a lot of young viewers. And I'm sure yung mga freelancers na dyan, they know what to do, they've already experienced a lot of things, no? What will be your top 3 tips on how to get your first client or how to land your first client?
Okay, top 3 tips. Okay.
Yeah,
I
top
have a lot
3
of tips, but top 3.
and it doesn't have to be related to our topic, which is like portfolio. Kasi, di ba, you mentioned that you only give your portfolio when they ask for it, di ba? Parang, you don't have to give it to them naman pag hindi nila tinanong, di ba? So, normally, it's them asking about like, okay, these are the services that I want. This is the scope of work. Okay, what's your background? Diba? Usually, which clients have you serviced before? Blah blah blah. No, and then if they ask for a sample, that's when you give your portfolio, your sample work. Diba?
Right.
Okay, so in terms of like landing clients, okay, so what are your top 3 tips so that itong mga freelancers natin or even yung mga nagsa-side gig, kasi I'm sure a lot of you are employed as well, gusto nyo mag-side business or mag-side gigs, which is freelancing, then dyan naman nagsa-start talaga lahat, no? So, what are your tips? If baguhan pa lang ako and I'm not really particular about kung kakagraduate mo lang or you're a stay-at-home mom or nag-work ka before and getting into this business, but new freelancers.
Right. Okay, so the main theme of the tips that I will give will be to start small. So what do I mean when I say start small? When I say start small, I mean start with an industry. Pick an industry and pick a niche. So a big mistake or a common mistake for freelancers is like they try to market to everyone. They try to work with anyone, and that dilutes your marketing message. It confuses your prospects, and it just commoditizes your business. So you essentially are competing with everyone else. But
Correct.
when you focus on like one service offering and one type of client, one type of industry, you literally laser focus your business and your efforts, so that you're not burning out and you're not spreading yourself too thin. Here's a good application. If you're
Okay.
interested in, let's say, again, let's do social media marketing. If you're interested in doing social media marketing, instead of mastering all the gazillion platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Snapchat, instead of spreading yourself thin across all these platforms, just pick one. Become a
Exactly.
specialist, Facebook specialist. Become an Instagram growth marketer or something like that. Become a Twitter marketer. When you do that,
Exactly.
you position yourself as a specialist, an expert, okay? And that strengthens your marketing message. So start small in that sense. The other one is to pick an industry. So depending on your interests and your background, just like for me, I graduated as a nurse, so I targeted the health and fitness and wellness industry. So that will really help focus your marketing message as well. Here's a good example. If a client is looking for a health writer, would they hire a health writer or a VA with writing skills? So obviously they'll pick the health writer because their skill is focused.
Very specialized.
Very specialized, yes. I think the big concern here is that if you narrow down on your niche and industry, that you're decreasing the potential clients that you can work with. But this is a misbelief because there are millions of people and businesses that are looking for your help. So that's a misbelief. If, for example, a specific industry is not marketable, then you can change industries. You can experiment with other industries. You can experiment with various versions of your service offering. but the goal initially is to start small.
Okay.
Okay? So another tip that I would have would be in terms of getting clients is
Yeah.
to focus on is to learn to focus to shift the focus from, well, okay, this is a general tip because there's like a huge conversation about this, but understand entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
learn business.
Yeah.
A lot of freelancers who make the leap to freelancing come to freelancing as employees. And that totally
Mm-hmm.
works against your case because you're literally just transforming your day job into a digital version of it. And so a lot of freelancers are still chained by the hours, and they don't know how to scale in terms of increasing their rates, in terms of generating a regular stream of clients. They still struggle with that. But
Mm-hmm.
when you understand entrepreneurship, that totally changes your
That's
approach to
true.
freelance. It changes
Mm-hmm.
how you market yourself. It changes how you communicate with your prospects. It just changes everything in general. So that's probably tip number two. Tip
Mm-hmm.
number three would be to, again, this is like probably like a general tip, is to work on your personal and professional development. There's a
Yeah.
tip that I really like from Hal Elrod, and he talks about how our level of success cannot surpass our level of personal development. Our level of professional success does not exceed our level of personal development. So if you want to really grow not only as a business but also as a person, then
Person.
focus
Yeah.
on growing yourself as well. So because you'll reach a ceiling when you're not working on yourself. So
That's true.
simple tips like exercising, meditating, eating healthy, and
Yeah.
learning, reading, investing in yourself, things like that will really help your business. It sounds irrelevant now, but like
Yeah.
given my 6 years experience, it really helps. It really helps. So those are my top three suggestions. Start small, and then
Understand entrepreneurship.
understand entrepreneurship and work on yourself.
You know what? I totally agree with number three. Because, like, we take things for granted. We take things like exercising. Like, parang, ano naman, what does that have to do with freelancing? Alam mo yun? Like,
Right.
but with exercising, like, it brings you sometimes, most of the time, it brings you, like, clarity of mind, diba? When you're
Exactly.
creating strategies, like Chris, diba, you sort of, like, parang
You're more
everything becomes
focused.
clear, diba? You become more
Yeah.
focused,
More
and
energy.
you become more intentional, more energetic,
Exactly.
diba? All of these things fall into place. So yeah,
Right.
totally agree. So thank you. Start small, understand entrepreneurship, and go for personal development. Okay.
Yes.
So that's it, guys. So Chris is actually one of our speakers, right? For Mindanao workshops. Where
Yes.
are you based, Chris? Sorry.
In
Where are you based
CDO.
again?
In CDO.
CDO, yes.
Yes.
Chris is from Cagayan de Oro. I have a small team in Mindanao, so do check out Mindanao workshops. So we'll be having a lot of workshops in Mindanao. And Chris, I hope we can invite you again as a speaker. What was your
Sure.
topic the last time? I'm sorry I couldn't make it.
Yeah, it was about how to start online freelancing.
There. So he teaches that. He teaches how to start online freelancing. And I'm sure you can teach more topics
Yeah,
no, that
definitely.
people can learn from. Ang daming alam ni Chris. So we can even do a webinar for the topics that we can talk about. No? So thank you again, Chris. Again, for those in Mindanao, do check out MindanaoWorkshops.com. We have a lot of workshops in store for you this year. I think we have one posted, which is blogging, how to start a blogging career. So
Right.
do check it out. Okay, thank you again, Chris. Thank you for all
You're
the
very
gifts that you sent on
welcome.
Kumu. Thank you for all of the hearts in Facebook. Thank you for the viewers who joined us tonight. And I
Yes,
hope you
thank
have a
you.
nice evening.
You too.
I'll
Thanks for
end this
having me.
Kumu stream.